Fiji's squad for the 2019 Rugby World Cup. It has been out for a wee while. I've been a bit behind in getting some of the squad videos out. They initially named 32 and now they are down to their 31 guys. So, yeah, Fiji's an interesting team in that I feel like a lot of people do have good feelings for the Fijians. They appreciate the way they play rugby. Would perhaps back Fiji against another team if it's like, as long as it's not your team, you'd like to see Fiji get a win. They're in a relatively tough pool with Australia and Wales there, being the two favourites to go through, along with Uruguay and Georgia. I think most people would at least back Fiji to get 2 out of the 4 wins, and some people are putting a strong case forward that Fiji will either definitely or quite possibly get into the knockout stages. You look at the squad and you see there's a lot of talent there, so it wouldn't be impossible for these guys to push through, although I think it would still be an upset. I mean, for as many people as do have that kind of good feeling about the Fijian squad, you look at the bookies and they're giving the Fijians pretty slim odds, and part of that is just people putting money where those goodwill thoughts are. So, like I said, I think a lot of us want to see Fiji do well. That includes myself. It's a squad which I'm partially familiar with. I mean, there's definitely a lot of guys who I don't know as well as I should, and definitely can't pronounce all the names correctly, so do add insights into the players that I don't know that well, and do correct me where the pronunciation goes a bit haywire. Fijian does seem to have a few rules with some of its words which are a bit tricky, but I guess once I learn them, and previous people have been really helpful in guiding me through those, so work in progress. The squad, 3 hookers in Dolakoto, Matavesi, that's Sam, and Vugakoto. Vugakoto's the youngest at 21. Sam Matavesi is 27, so kind of more experienced, but none of these guys have a whole bunch of international caps. None of them even at 10, which I guess is relatively light. But again, if you've seen the 10-14 have done videos about how many games some of the Tier 2 nations play, and it's just not as many as the Tier 1 nations, so that also could be part of it. Props, of which there are 5, Atalifo, Ma'afu, Maui, or is it Mawai, Ravai, and Saulo. Again, a bit of a mix of experience. Like Ma'afu seems to have been around for a very long time. He's 34. Saulo's 30. Ravai's 29. Mawai is the inexperienced guy there at 29 years old. I guess that's going to be one big test for Fiji, is how they go in their front row. But, I mean, if you look at these teams, Wales' scrum has been under a wee bit of pressure in some of their recent warm-up games. Australia's scrum has probably been a bit better than it gets credit for. You never usually think Australian rugby and scrummaging, but especially those guys who play for the Brumbies have been doing well, so that may be one to watch. And the Georgians definitely do love a good scrum, so it'll be a key piece for these guys to hold up. Second rowers, you got Thavubati, Nakarawa, Ratuni Yarawa, and Ratuva. In Nakarawa, you've got one of the best players in the world. That is, without a doubt, that guy's skill set is phenomenal. And the other guys are all playing in Europe. Harlequins, Northampton, and Bordeaux. So, I guess in terms of caps, it's Nakarawa and Ratuni Yarawa, but they're both in their 30s. So, hopefully we get to see a bit of a mix around. Again, apart from Nakarawa, I don't know if I would recognize these guys at first glance, but hopefully after the World Cup I'll be a bit more familiar. Back rowers, Kunatani, Mata, Voka, Wagani Burotu, whose name I'm slowly getting better at pronouncing, and Yato. Wakani Burotu is the captain, and he's a very, very good player. He's performed pretty well in some of the recent games that I've seen. Again, kind of senior guy with 33 years old, 46 caps. Mata is perhaps, along with Nakarawa, one of my favorite Fijian players. Another guy who's just got that absolute skill set, can create something from nothing, great offloads. I've seen a fair few of his games playing for Edinburgh, so just again, top class player. I saw Yato a wee bit in in some of the warm-up games as well. Looked pretty good. So, yeah, I would say the back row and the second row for Fiji is very good. I'm not as familiar, not as confident, I guess, in the front row, but I will be happily proven wrong if these guys can go out and boss some teams or at least hold their own. The backs is where we traditionally think all of the Fijian talent is at, despite the fact that, as I said, you got the guy likes of Mata and Nakarawa there. But Lomani, Matawalu, and Sini Loli are the three scrum halves, so they're going with 3 9s, a couple of them 30, and Lomani being the young guy there at 23 with 11 caps. Vetokani, Volavola, and Matavesi are kind of you guys who play 10, although Vetokani may end up playing more 15 or on the bench, I would say, given that he's perhaps not as experienced as some of the other guys. 8 caps. Volavola's probably going to be the guy who starts at 10. Again, I've mentioned it before, he's kind of a magic or miss it player. Sometimes he just has very silky skills and will set up some kind of phenomenal move, and sometimes he will just drop a ball cold. So, hopefully he has more good games than bad. He's definitely been around a few clubs now, Waratahs, Crusaders, he's over in France, so he's been around the traps a bit. Matavesi, perhaps it's all his playing in England. I feel like he kicks a wee bit too much when I've seen him play for Fiji, but again, it's good to have that different style player to back up Volavola or to start ahead of Volavola, so you can kind of mix and match as to which way you want to go. Botia, Randradra, Vatubua. Your midfield, I think Matavesi can also drop into the midfield as well. I mean, the name that everyone's going to know there is Randradra. That guy's top class. He is going to be a handful for any midfield to come up against. It was good to see him back for the Fijians in that most recent warm-up game. I think it was against Tonga. So, very, 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 very exciting player. Still only 27. It feels like he's been around for such a long time. And outside backs, Gonova, Nakosi, Nayathalevu, Tui Silva, and Muri Valu. There's definitely some big-time gas out on those wings. Nayathalevu is a dangerous player. Tui Silva has got crazy speed. Gonova, I can't believe he's 35. He's still quick, so very experienced guy, 57 caps. I think he's one of Fiji's top, if not the top try scorer. He's been around for a long time, so yeah, man. Very excited to see how this Fijian side goes. As I said, you got a real mix of guys who play for very big clubs, probably earning pretty good money, to guys who play locally or are currently without a club. So it will be an interesting one to watch. The coach seems to have a pretty good beat on how to get the best out of these guys. So fingers crossed they can do a pretty good job at the World Cup. As I said, do let me know some insights on some of the guys who you guys will have seen more. Because, I mean, none of these guys are currently playing like in Super Rugby where I would see them week in, week out. Some of these guys have no doubt played in Super Rugby before. I'm thinking, like Volavola is definitely one of those guys. And I've seen, as I said, guys like Mata and Gonova and whatnot playing in Europe for quite some time as well. But, yeah, definitely a fair bit more that I could learn about the squad. But, yeah. You guys let me know your thoughts on the Fiji squad. How do you think they're going to go? Do you think they're going to make the knockout stages? First time it would be since 2007. Yeah, they missed out in 11 and in 15. But, we'll see if they can get it done. You guys let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.